Hi.
I'm happy that I can interview you today.
Thank you.
About you and your life perspective.
Okay, thank you, Annabelle. I'm not quite sure where this is going to go, but I'm looking forward to your questions. I understand there will be 3 questions.
Yes, there are only a few, so it would be great if at first you can introduce yourself
Okay.
a little bit. We're here in Munich.
We're in Munich, where I have been living since 1982. I came to Munich, Germany in 1982 on the 4th of January after being on the train for over 40 hours, coming to Goethe Institute in Grafing by Munich for 2 months to learn German. Previously, I had done technical college for public health. I'm a public health inspector, a public health officer, and I came because I didn't know what to do with myself. So back then, it were different times, planes were not so easy to take, so off I went onto the train with my passport and a visa. Back then it was necessary for 2 months German course. And ever since, I've been in Munich. From the 2 months, it is now like 30 plus years, 35 years.
That brings us straight in the middle of the topic, and I think it's actually than ever, because your situation was a kind of refugee situation, but some years
yes,
ago.
sort of. I was running away from a society that I felt was repressive. It was a different time, different rights. Back then, women had to ask their their husbands or fathers to sign for a passport to exit the country. It wasn't like we experience the world today. It's something we have forgotten, and you had to go through a very complicated system for visa application to come. Although in Greece women have always been independent, working, studying, it was still not a very open society to live up to what you believed and how you wanted to be. So it was finding refuge in Germany, and this indeed I have found.
I can imagine that this is a really big experience, and was a really strong experience in your life to figure out the difference. What has brought you to today's situation where you're now? For example, being a doctor, but also engaging yourself for others more than that was normal doctors normally do.
Well, when you come to a different country and to a different culture, a very different culture. Back then, globalization wasn't an issue, so it was very much Greece, Germany, and all the standards that we see were there. So when you come to a different environment, you have 2 choices, or 3 choices. You can continue living as you did, and simply using the system. You can become part of this culture, forgetting where you have come, or you can take the best of where you came from and the best of what has welcomed you, and then enrich yourself and the place where you're living with this new experience. And that's what I've learned, and that was made my life different. That when I curse at my children, I will really curse in Greek and yell and say, or when I count, I will always count in Greek. This has never happened, but I dream in German. I live in German. So this is what has made me today being able to learn something new, embrace it, but still in my heart to have the lovely sunset of Athens when I grew up, and the friendliness and of people and the niceties of what Greek culture has given to the world and to me.
Yeah. And I think you live with a passion for not only being a doctor. Can you tell us what you're passionate about today?
When I was a little child, or a little bit older, I thought that I wanted to become like Albert Schweitzer. I wanted to go to India and help people who have diseases. But when I started working, I found out that yes, people in India or other countries suffer. They suffer from horrible diseases. They are dying of hunger. But here where we live, in this society, we're dying of pain, of slow pain. We don't die of infections. We die from sadness, from having no purpose in life. We kill ourselves with cynicism, with lies, with dishonesty, with complicated issues. And we cause so much unnecessary pain to each other that I think this is what is really important, that we deal with this pain that we're causing to ourselves and to others. We cannot avoid a heart attack. We cannot avoid cancer. We cannot avoid a bad tooth or a headache. Yes, sometimes, but most of the times it happens. But what we can avoid is the unnecessary pain that people cause to other people, to others and to ourselves, by not sticking to being authentic, by not sticking to what has to be done, but sticking to simple values as keeping it simple, being honest, helping others, being there for others, telling the truth in a way that helps others to grow. Instead of growing, we hurt. And we cause thus even more diseases than is necessary. We get a headache because we don't know how to deal with situations, instead of simply having a headache because we haven't drunk enough water or because we've eaten something bad. We cause so much pain, and that's what my passion is, to help people learn what causes their pain, how they cause other people pain, and to find ways out of it.
Thank you. I think this is a lot, and I think it's so important to go that way, to help other people. And do you have some tips, some ideas, maybe also a book or any further idea for someone who wants to follow this path, who wanted to share your ideas and go deeper into this topic?
Books have always been my passion ever since I was a child, because I was a very lonely child. I didn't have children to play with where I was, and all I had was books. So I was reading everything, and I was reading back then for Victor Malot, Without Family. I was like, how is it to be without a family? Or would it be nice not to have a family? Or how would it be to go to the moon? Or reading books like One Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith, where it describes a little girl growing in Brooklyn in early 1900s and being all by herself with her thoughts and finding consolation in books. So books indeed help. Most books help. Just reading books is essential. Before we go to what books to read, teaching young children to read. Reading to children, reading for yourself, even if it's an audiobook, but reading. The written word is important, more so than the spoken word, because that makes you reflect, that makes you think, that makes you consider, gives you endless ideas. And it's like food. Food is good, but only if you eat different foods. Books are good, different books. Funny books. I love Terry Pratchett, the British guy, you know him, Terry Pratchett, that died recently from Alzheimer's. And he wrote books, fantasy books, they say. It's not fantasy books.
Sci-fi.
No, yes, that's what they say. That's the deepest truths I've ever read. It's like saying, life is like going into the movie 10 minutes after it has started. The movie has started. And we spend all our lives trying to figure out what happened in the first 2 minutes and resolve the 2 minutes we don't know, instead of watching the film now. We try to figure out our childhood instead of trying to make the best of today. These are some of the things he has written. Really, really good things. I love The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't panic is the motto there. It is also seemingly science fiction, but it isn't. It's the deepest philosophy. But in serious books, one book I recommend is Viktor Frankl, The Meaningless of Life. It's like telling you not how to find hope, but doing the best of yourself at any given moment, no matter what it is. Just give your best to yourself and not wait until things are better. Because this is something I see in medicine. People say, oh, I will do better when I'm not sick. I will do better when I have money. I will do better if I'm not a refugee. Do your best of yourself now, no matter what it is. And that's Viktor Frankl. That's really the important message. Even if you're sick, if you're poor, nothing stops you from having your inner dignity, knowing your worth, and doing the best for yourself and for others.